Howdy, brothers and sisters. This is Pike coming to you live from Anchorage, Alaska. I'm walking back towards the airport, and I'll start showing you the view of the garbage-laden streets of Anchorage in just a moment here. But I went to the office to drop off some paperwork, and silly me forgot it's Saturday and there's nobody there to take the paperwork. I flew up from Homer this morning, which was weird. I just have this feeling that everything is crumbling so rapidly, it's literally falling apart before our eyes. The Homer Airport, which is managed by the city of Homer and by the Port and Harbor, which is notorious for bad stuff, is crumbling and falling apart. None of the main entrances worked. The cabinets and countertops for the airlines were ripped apart and looked dirty and filthy, and there wasn't even a trash can to throw your coffee cups away in. So everyone was leaving their garbage on top of the ticket agent counters. And when we finally got to the plane to board and got in the plane, they had to shut the plane off to reboot the computers for 5 minutes, which I've flown on some pretty lackluster aircraft in my life in Alaska, and that's the first time I've ever seen that in my life. So it was really disheartening. And I said to the guy that was sitting next to me on the plane, do you have the feeling that our state is de-escalating into communist Russian times? It seems like everything's falling apart. I'm almost expecting for them to come over the loudspeaker and tell us, you're going to have to wait for a little while. We've sent some people down to the beach to shovel coal into a bucket so we can start the aircraft. But it was really quite strange how the city took over the airport, and it's literally starting to look like something out of some abandoned Russian town. Like you almost wouldn't expect there'd be an airline operating out of that building anymore. They've let it go so far downhill. So I was going to park my car outside of that terrible airport in Homer, Alaska, and I seen how much they wanted a day for parking. And I was like, well, I'm absolutely not doing that. So I drove to where I parked for VPSO work, and then had the taxi cab pick me up. And the taxi driver felt exactly the same way as I do. I'll give you a glimpse of the streets of Anchorage. But the taxi cab driver said this is absolute BS what the city is doing to this airport. We're down to one flight a day in and out of Homer. And my ticket was something like $350 something just between Homer and Anchorage. Plus they scalped me for another $115 for my baggage. And I was kind of like, what the bleep? This sucks. I don't even get to take any bags with me. Am I supposed to fly naked? I don't understand. But that's the terrible state of Homer, Alaska. And I just recommend don't come. If all they're going to do is rob you for money, I think it's $30 to camp out on the spit now. You have to pay to park everywhere you go. And it's just stupid. It's just an absolute robbery. So I got here to Anchorage. And the homeless problem isn't as bad as it was, but it's still really bad. I can't be inhaling people's drug vapors as I walk down the sidewalk, so I had to hold my breath and just stop and wait for some people to walk ahead of me. And you can see it's just like garbage. Garbage everywhere. These people are not trying to bring themselves up. They're just wanting people to pay for their high. There's ASC processors that would hire them in a minute. There's all kinds of cannery jobs. Lots of people looking for workers, but nobody wants to work anymore. And that's not an excuse to dump foreigners into the city, because that made it even worse. So this is our formerly decent city. When I first came up here all those years ago, you used to be able to not run into all this garbage everywhere. People kept the streets picked up. Lots of hardworking people, slope workers, pilots, bush pilots, tradesmen, contractors. Everything was kept clean. And then it started to become liberalized. And I'm not saying that because I hate any political party over the other. However, a political party that does so much evil as the Democrat Party did, I can't respect anything about them at all whatsoever in the least. It just seems like they're demonic. Because they're the ones that are trying to still use the plantation method so that their elite bloodlines can rule and have authority over everyone else. We see that with all the insider trading, how you get into their gang and then all of a sudden, with your $100,000 a year political salary, now you have tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in just a couple of years from inside trading, crony deals, or just outright fraud. And it's this fraud that dumped all these foreign people into these cities that did not want to assimilate. They didn't come here because they wanted to be Americans and to live the American dream and work hard and build a family and a home. For the most part, there's that rare exception, but many just came to exploit and live off the backs of the working man. I usually don't do these rants, but I keep seeing how absolutely disgusting our cities have become and how absolutely corrupt our politicians are. And it's just so sad to see America turning into a pile of garbage right before my eyes. Nobody even takes care of these streets anymore because they want to have some kind of super rich contract, even starting with the roads and the infrastructure. Instead of using washed rock and making roads that last for decades, they dump so much clay and gravel and sand into the gravel and washed rock. And they aren't even using crushed rock anymore to bind together. It's really like idiocracy. I can't understand why there aren't more people speaking out about it. People have got to know I can't be the only one seeing that we're being cheated out of our own country. I hope everyone's doing good. Oh, let me see that. Thoughts on Blind Molly? What's that? You'll have to let me know what you mean on that. I don't even know what drugs people are on here anymore. It's so over the top. I know for a while even people were importing crocodile, which was Russian eye drops that they were shooting instead of heroin. It was eating their bodies from the inside out. There's tons of meth and heroin around. The police arrest these people and they get right back out on the street. Liberal judges aren't good for anything. Good for me to get a walk in anyway. The people that I've seen, to be honest, at first I thought maybe I'd run into some homeless people and do some prayers with them. But some of the ones I've seen seem extra violent here. There's something demonic in these streets. And it's so sad. It's okay to be poor. It shouldn't make you violent. It shouldn't make you hateful. It shouldn't turn you into a shameless thief. But there's something demonic in these streets with these drugs and all that's going on. We as Christians need to start speaking out to our brothers and sisters, even when it's uncomfortable like that, as hard as it is to do. But you can really run into some bad stuff in these streets, and you can really end up dead pretty quick if you're not careful. The weather's beautiful. We just need to fix this broken society up here in Alaska before it's too late. I'm actually in a better part of town now. Where I started the stream off at, I couldn't show you these people because likely I'd get shot or stabbed. But there's large gangs of them. It's not just a person here or there. They run in gangs here in Anchorage. And there's like groups of 10 or groups of 20. And they're up to no good. And they're about taking advantage. This is definitely the cleanest part of town that I've walked through yet. Man, I would not want to have to bring kids up somewhere like this, though. So sad. So when I was over in the village in Nanwellick, I was able to recapture that real Alaskan feel. The narrow gravel roads, everybody driving around on four-wheelers. People would stop and chat with you. You might unexpectedly end up having an hour-long conversation with some elders or some of the other locals. People were friendly. They waved back or stopped. And it was hard to even take a walk sometimes because everybody wanted to pick you up and just hang out, which of course I did a lot of because I love that anyway. Getting to meet everybody in the town. And there was a lot of kindness and love there. I could really feel it. It was palpable. And when I get back to Homer, I'm just like, especially last night, I went to get some food. And it was like I was in the middle of Seattle. Music so loud you couldn't even hear anybody talk. All the conversations were just so shallow. People talking about what they watch on TV, what movies they watch, about getting drunk, and that was it. Let's see. Yep. I'm looking so forward to being able to help people with this new thing that I'm doing. And I know that I'm going to see some pretty sad stuff. I talked to a bunch of nurses, behavioral health people already, because I like to know everything about everything that I'm doing and try to learn as much about people as I can to help as much as I can. I don't want to just be someone that is disconnected. We should all be connected. That village family thing is so beautiful. And that might be the only intelligent thing that Hillary Clinton ever said, is it takes a village to raise a child. I know that she doesn't believe that because her heart is evil and cold. But she heard that from somebody, and whoever said that was a smart person, because it does take a village to raise a child. They should have all their aunts and uncles and grandfathers and grandmothers, sisters and brothers to help them, to guide them, and to keep them from going on the wrong path. I'm probably going to need to figure out which way I need to walk here in a minute. Or else I'll be walking extra hours that I don't need. Oh, where are we at? Like 20 minutes in. Oh, there's buses. I didn't even think of doing buses. I forgot. There's Merrill Field Airport. So I think I'm going to close this one out here and figure out where I got to walk next. It said it was like a 3-hour walk back to the airport, and I'm cheap and I don't want to pay another $30 to the taxi, and I need to get rid of some of my belly anyway. So I'm going to hop off the stream. God loves you all. You're all my brothers and sisters everywhere around the world, no matter what religion you are right now. I hope you find the true faith, our Lord Jesus Christ. God bless you all, and I'll see you again on the next one. God bless.